Well, just I had some election night musings, that not political. I just musings. I'm sure a lot of people are watching the election returns tonight. So I had no problem voting. I went to vote early on Saturday, and my God, the line was like it looked like it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy. So I never have to wait at my polling place. So I just thought, whatever, I'll just wait till Tuesday, go to the polling place, which I did, and there was no wait. Just walked in, voted, and walked out. It was great. Um, but tonight I've been, watching the returns on various stations. Some of them independent. I prefer like independent coverage, and uh, I've been doing some food stuff tonight. So one of the things I made was I, I get this. There's a place I go to that has a lot of imported foods, and they have date paste rolls. So basically, if you don't know, I didn't know what date paste was before, but basically they just take dates and they mush them up into a mush, and they pack them like in these, rectangular bricks really tightly. They're hermetically sealed and they're packed real tight, like airtight. And so at this place, I buy these rolls, right? And what they do is someone whoever supplies them to this store I go to, they mush the paste up, roll it into rolls, roll it in coconut, and then put an almond on it. And I grew to love this stuff. I have it with coffee actually. Um, I'm actually a hypoglycemic, so I avoid pure sugar. So I don't put sugar in my coffee. I just have half and half. And but this is a great way because see, date paste and dates have a very low glycemic index, so they taste sweet, but they don't get into your bloodstream quickly. It takes a long time. Very low glycemic index. So I'll have like one of these 1 inch rolls with a small fork, and I'll just like put it on my coffee cup saucer and have a small fork and just take small bites with every you know 1 or 2 sips, and it's great. It tastes fantastic. So I started making it myself, and the rolls, and but I don't make it the same way. What I do is I'll buy these brick packs at a certain store I go to, um, and it's packed really tightly, so it's hard to kind of spoon it out, and you have to soften it. You have to mush it up and soften it. So I'll add a little bit of I get this unpasteurized cider locally, so I'll mash it up with the cider, and that softens it, loosens it up, and then I'll add really good Dutch cocoa, and then I'll add just raw oats, like oatmeal that you'd make oatmeal with. So just the flakes of oats, and I'll mash all that up. Sometimes I'll roll it into like small balls, or I'll just leave it flat on a plate, and it's delicious with coffee. Really, sometimes I will add coffee grounds to it, not a lot, but it tastes really good. It's like having those chocolate covered um, coffee beans, right? Espresso beans. If you ever had that dessert, that's just those are delicious. And actually, that's something I do with ice cream. I'll put like coffee grounds in. Um, well, I don't eat ice cream often, but 20 years ago, I, one Christmas I had some vanilla ice cream and I put coffee grounds in it. It was delicious. So um, then I make I like beets, but sometimes they're just too sweet, too earthy for me, and I like to cut them with something. And one of the ways I cut them is I'll steam them just so they're soft enough to mush up with a fork, and then I'll add mustard and minced onion and mix it up and just save it and use it as a relish. That's good. And then I make these are like lowbrow foods, I guess, right? So, but but then I'll make I have this potato dish I made, which is basically um, they're like low fat French fries. So I basically take russet potatoes and I slice them maybe a quarter of an inch thick, and I'll put them on a cast iron skillet and I'll liberally put olive oil on it, and flip them, and so they're slathered in olive oil on both sides. Put them in the oven at 500, and whenever I cook stuff in the oven, I just flip, like whether it's meat, or something like these potatoes, I flip it constantly. So I'm constantly like pulling it out, and I just keep flipping it, and eventually it gets evenly brown on each side. So it's like this golden brown. It's crunchy, and it's soft on the inside. So it's like a low fat French fry because I'm not immersing them in oil. You know what I mean? So I don't have like a puddle of oil in there, in the pan, and they're not, so they're not deep frying or anything. And then I'll put salt on it. It's delicious. Sometimes I put sea salt on it. It's delicious. So, and I've had a couple of phone calls with friends talking about the results, and how it's looking. So, but I won't get into that. So anyhow, just wanted to check in and share some musings on election night. Um, Also had a reflection on Quincy Jones' death. Um, I always enjoyed that there's video. I've become interested in like music production, and I'm by no means an expert, but I started to understand some things, about music in the last 5 to 10 years. So I've been gradually trying to understand how various songs have been manipulated by the producers, right, to have a certain effect. So I'm by no means an expert, but my understanding has grown a lot from where I started. Let me put it that way. And believe it or not, I've actually messaged some um, well-known people on Facebook to ask questions, and they've answered. So, but then I find that there's a lot of video, and Chat GPT is great too to ask questions about that stuff too. It really is. It's fantastic, actually. So through a combination of like asking people a lot with Chat GPT and then a lot with videos that I find where like music producers talk about their craft, I've learned a lot. And I really have enjoyed watching Quincy Jones manage, like there's all this footage of the making of We Are the World, and you can see him at work with the various artists, and it's really, you don't see him mixing the songs, but it's interesting to see how it was recorded and what it ultimately became, and the vision for it and how he manages people and stuff like that. Um, so I enjoyed that. What I did not like about Quincy Jones, um, and this is a minor criticism, but he basically baselessly claimed that Elvis was racist. It's just absurd. It's just silly. Like we're done with that. So there was no basis for saying that, you know. And actually, I did a video about that on my channel about demonstrating throughout Elvis's life all these examples of him being friends with and sharing his life and his career and wealth with black people, and crediting black people for you know providing the basis for the music he produced, right? Gospel and rhythm and blues. So um anyhow, that's it. Love to hear any comments or thoughts you might have. See ya.